Welcome back. Welcome back to Tainted Ties and Tiaras. I hope everyone is doing well. If everyone can hear me, can you type a one in chat? Please. So today is all about the corruption in Stillwater, Oklahoma. If you have not heard about this case, it's sickening. It's sickening what law enforcement and the judicial system has done. It is just it disturbs me deeply. It really does. I'm going to be sharing some information and some documents. Awesome. Does it sound okay? I hope so. Okay. So hold on. Let me get some stuff so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So this is about the grape by Jesse Mack Butler. So this case it says it stated that it has opened the floodgates of corruption and leniency for predators in Stillwater, Oklahoma. uh, Stillwater, Oklahoma's judicial system. Sorry, excuse me. I'm going to move this over here so I can read it just a little bit better. So now this article was written by Just in the Nick of Crime. So I would like to give credit to him for this. So it says, before we go any further, I want to start with an update that should never needed to exist. According to a victim's mother, one of the girls attacked by Jesse Butler recently underwent surgery for the injuries. Doctors said that they were directly related to the strangulation. So this little girl ended up having to have surgery on her neck due to the strangulation that he did. And this app happens to be his motto, his forte, his preference. Oh, it just aggravates the crap out of me. She said that her daughter's damaged vein continued to swell and cause pain, a physical reminder of what he allegedly did to her. And I will share some. No, I won't. I'm not going to share the pictures. Um, just because I don't really, it's not fair to the victim. It's not. That's It's not. Okay. So photos from the hospital confirm that she was treated for complications consistent with the strangulation trauma. And a lot of times when you get strangled, there's a little bone in your neck, and a lot of times they can tell exactly the cause of death because of that little bone can end up being broken. The mother allowed the photos to be used publicly as long as her daughter's face remained blurred. And of course, that will be respected. So maybe I can share them. I just don't know if I want to. If you guys want to see the photos, just, let me know in chat. She is still dealing with the effects of what he did, the mother said, and he is still walking free. This young man is still walking free. Still walking free. Now, I have a surprise closer later on in the stream. So give me a little bit, but there's a surprise coming up because there's an event that I will either, of course, invite you guys to, or, I will definitely be there for this event. Okay, so the sentence sums up everything wrong in this case and with the Stillwater judicial system that has let this happen. A story Stillwater tried to bury. Now, with today's technology and media, you're not going to bury anything. Anything. MRH, it's good to see you. Welcome in. Sounds great. Awesome. So let me share. You guys want me to share these photos? This will probably be the last case I do. Um, just because I don't, it's painful. It's trauma, it's painful. It's not, to me, it's not enough respect for the victims and the survivors of domestic violence in SA. So this is probably going to be the last case that I cover. Okay, let's see here. So the name of the page is right here. Okay, can you guys see it? Okay, I hope you can. Let's see here for a second. Just so I can kind of still see chat. Okay. So is it scrolling when I scroll? I hope so. Let's see. Yeah, it is. Okay. Jim Coddington, good to see you. You gifted 1 membership. Thank you, Jim. That is so sweet. Okay, but I have to be kind of serious. I will try to be, a little not serious, but it's a tough subject. Oh my gosh, I lost my page. Where did it go? There it is. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. Okay. So the story Stillwater tried to bury. When 18-year-old Jesse Mack Butler stood before Payne County courtroom charged with rape, strangulation, and violating a protective order. Now, mind you, he did these while there was a protective order. So there should have been a violation of protective order, number one, and that would have aggravated this case. And yeah. No, I do not give legal advice on YouTube. I'm an advocate, but I'm not your advocate. Okay. So let's see here. Uh, Strangulation, violation of protective order, and evidence was disturbing, and the charges serious. But in Stillwater, Oklahoma, a college town with a deep political and social connections, justice rarely plays a role in the book. So from what I understand, that and we will get to that too, is that the judicial system there has been ran by 2 people, a father and a daughter, who has been running their judicial system for many, 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 many years. Probably well, at least into the 20s, 40s, maybe years. And so they seem to have a way of letting off the bad guy, I guess you could say. So this is the, I would say, young man. Well, he is a young man, but he is no gentleman by any stretch. He has not done this to one person, not 2 people, but there is now a 3rd person that is coming up to light that is maybe they can, bring that evidence back in and him being tried as an adult. Butler did not walk away because he was innocent by any stretch of the means. He walked away because he was connected instead of being tried as an adult. Butler, oh, Butler's case was quietly reclassified as a youthful offender. Interesting, isn't it? If it would have happened anywhere else in a bigger city, that would never have happened. He pled no contest to 11 felony counts. 11. Did I say 11? 11 felony counts, including first-degree rape, sexual battery, and domestic assault by strangulation. His punishment is counseling and probation and 150 hours of community service. Unfreaking real. Unreal. The same system that routinely hands down decades of long sentences for lesser crimes decided Jesse's future mattered more than the future of the girls that he allegedly brutalized. Now you have to remember, these girls will never get that back. They will live with this for the rest of their lives. Counseling, but it doesn't take away the pain. It doesn't take away the memories. It does not fix it. A familiar last name in Stillwater. At the time the assaults took place, Butler's father, Mack Butler, served as the assistant athletic director for Stillwater Public Schools. Very interesting. Now remember that these girls he went to school with. Okay. So he's like, oh, he doesn't want his name ran through the mud, so they need to like brush this under the rug. And that is one of those bullshit things. And I really don't normally cuss, but this just sets fire under my ass. Okay, so a position, I digress. A position that is connected to him directly through the city's education and sports network. There he is again. According to several residents familiar with the matter, the Butlers are deeply woven into Stillwater's civic and social fabric. Those connections allegedly extend into the school district's local politics and judicial system itself. So, like I said, I came across this amazing channel, um, LCC channel. I think it's LCC Lies, Crime, Lies, and something. I'll have to go back and look, but great. And yeah, I was actually, previewing her video from today. It was great. Okay, so After my first report on Jesse Butler's sentencing, messages began flooding in from Stillwater's parents, residents, and people who said, "This isn't new. This is how it's always been here." And they were right. That started a story about one young man's lenient sentence as lenient, okay, lenient sentence has since pulled back the curtain on what appears to be decades of systematic leniency, favoritism, and alleged corruption, where power names walk free and victims are left to pick up the pieces. Money talks, bullshit walks. Amen. And don't forget to hit that like button on your way in, you guys. The Worthington dynasty, 50 years of control. So, my bad. I digress. It wasn't 20 years. It wasn't 40 years. 50 years they have had control in the judicial system in Payne County. The name Worthington came up again and again. Judge Susan Worthington. Now, Judge Susan Worthington is the one that let him off on the grounds of him being a minor. Now, I've seen many cases, as well as any of you who watch true crime, that minors, they don't get off easy. And he was able to walk. He was able to walk. This so much reminds me of the Kevin Underwood case. If you guys remember, I was there for, I think I did a little live stream for his, yeah. So let's see. So Judge Susan Worthing, who currently serves in Payne County, has gained a reputation among locals in her leniency in sexual offenses. That just blows my mind because typically sexual offenders are not rehabable offenders. It's not like going out and stealing a car. It's not like robbing a bank. It's not like, breaking into someone's house. Those offenses are like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Naughty me. And then you have to pay your consequences. Sexual violent crimes is something, it's mental. When I was in college, I wrote a huge paper on the 3-strike rule. And I did a speech on the 3-strike rule to help stop sexual violent offenses being let off with so much leniency. Like they get 3 times to commit sexual violent crimes is freaking absurd. Freaking absurd. Oh, it just heats me up. I just, anyways, okay. Ooza. Okay, repeatedly lowering the bail and issuing suspended sentences and reducing penalties for repeat offenders. Here it is again. So this is the woman. This is the woman to the left. I mean, she is Buffalo. Ah, okay, this must be her dad to the right, Mr. Don Worthington, who she just is following in his footsteps. Failure in the legal system, and all we wonder is why we can't just. Yeah, exactly. People wonder why you can't trust the judicial system. This is exactly why. Not everybody that's locked up and does time is guilty, and not everybody that is set free is innocent. I just need to put that out there. I just need to put it out there. Just because you may have done time for something doesn't necessarily mean that you did it. You may have been convicted for it, but doesn't necessarily mean you did it. And vice versa. Just because you got off on a charge doesn't necessarily mean you did not commit the crime. It just has to be beyond reasonable doubt or by judge's choice. Okay. But according to a longtime resident, this pattern stretches back generations. Her father, Judge Don Worthington, held the same position before her. So she basically just is following in his footsteps. Between them, the Worthingtons have effectively controlled Payne County bench for over 50 years combined. 50 years. 50 years of corruption. That's about to change. I'm just saying. Half of a century of one's family presiding over cases involving sexual assault, domestic abuse, and child exploitation, shaping the courtroom culture that Stillwater lives under today. When power stays the same hands that long, stays in the hands that same hands that long, it stops serving the people and it starts serving itself. It starts serving the people that can afford to pad their pockets. I am in no way. I'm not even going to try to fluff it. I'm not going to try to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's bullshit. Shouldn't have happened. It needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed stat. I have some information I would like to share with you guys. So if you would like to file a complaint against this judge, you are very welcome, very welcome to go to Oklahoma Council in Judicial Complaints. I believe, and there is a little spot there that you can actually file a complaint against this judge and have her removed from the bench. Now, this would go towards more of anybody that's involved in the case. So in my opinion, I would hope that maybe the victim's family or anyone that's associated with the victim's family, because as a family as a whole, it doesn't have to just be the immediate family. These type of things affect everybody involved and including your extended family. So they are welcome to file a complaint with the Council of Judicial Complaints, or even go to the Oklahoma Bar Association and file a complaint there too. If you need more information on that, you can also go to the Attorney General's Office of Oklahoma. The case of Seth Robert Swam, a former Cushing teacher, Seth Robert Swam, I'm not sure how to say that, Swaim, Swam, was convicted in 2018 for sexting a 13-year-old student. Hmm. He received 10-year sentence, but only served over a little over a year before being released under suspended arrangements. In 2024, Swam, however you say his name, yeah, was charged again because they're not going to ever be just a first time offender or sorry, just a one time offender. Sexual violent crimes, I'll repeat myself over and over and over and over again. People that commit sexual violent crimes do not only do it once and call it a day. They continue to do these things over and over and over again until they are put in a place that they can no longer do this. Just saying. In 2024, Swam was charged again, this time for first degree rape of a 16-year-old girl in Stillwater. Exactly, extreme. This case should have been handed over by another county, handed over to another county. Yeah, exactly. The reason being is because the family is so closely related to the judicial system and their civics that it should have been, um, there is a word for it. It's on the tip of my little tongue, and it's, if someone knows the word, please type it in chat. It's not favoritism. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's called, something of two minds. It's, not combativeness. It's it's where, like, for instance, if you are familiar with a judge, say you're friends with a judge, that judge cannot handle your case because it's biased, but there's another word for it, extreme. Conflict of interest, that's it. So if there's a conflict of interest that, is a standing. So, like, for instance, or say, like, an attorney, lawyer, or a judge are really good friends, it's also, like, it's conflict of interest, they can't work together. So in 2024, he was again first degree. That's this gentleman. So according to the court findings, Judge Susan Worthington reduced his bond from 100,000 to only 50,000, even though Swam was already registered as offender. Okay. And still on probation for his prior crimes. Again, that makes it an aggravated situation. The charges should have been um, even higher because it's now aggravated. If you're on probation, if you're on suspended sentence, um, anything that can aggravate a situation makes that charge a higher charge. Okay, so while he was out on bail, Swam allegedly violated the protective order and even, order 11 separate times. Each time the bail was set to 500 to $1,000. So when in most states, after the third time of violating a protective order, it becomes a felony. Maybe it's after the second time. It becomes a felony charge. It's no longer a misdemeanor charge. So again, they are not following the judicial rule book of whatever I believe Oklahoma's statute is. In 2025, after yet another violation, the court finally revoked his probation and imposed an 8-year sentence. By then, another victim had already come forward and the damage has already been done. A pattern passed down. Both Dawn and Susan Worthington appeared in decades of Payne County records involving sex offenders who received little to no meaningful punishment, according to the state and local court documents. So we're going to read from the left to the right. David A. Burnett, Mac H. Posey, and Dean T. Schrock. Schrock? I think I said that right. I'm not quite sure. So we'll start with David. Convicted of lewd acts with a minor, served only 90 days in county. 90 days. Mac H. Posey, convicted of a similar crimes, received fully a suspended 5-year sentence. Dean T. Schrock, convicted of lewd proposal to a child, served only 120 days. Are you for real? Like, this is just the biggest line of BS I've ever seen in my life. All three of those cases were overseen by either Don Worthington or Judge Philip Corley, another Payne County judge who often presides over the sexual offense cases. And those, I believe, are called, special cases, special special cases, I think, something like that. The pattern is undeniable. Low sentences, bail reductions, preference of probation, even for the offenders with prior records or repeat violations. And again, I've said it every time I've ever talked about these type of cases. They're always going to be repeat offenders unless they are permanently locked up. There are some people that will disagree with me, and say that no, they're rehabitable. It's a known fact they're not. So just they're not. They're not. It's something that's deep inside their psyche that you just can't fix. Fighting back. Before we go any further, I would like to remiss if I didn't bring this up. It's not just the corruption in Stillwater that's the problem. It's what it represents everywhere. Because every time a judge hands down a suspended sentence or a prosecutor cuts a deal with a child predator, it sends a message to this that the system values convince over convinced convenienced over children. So the system values convenience over children. That is exactly why I started a national petition calling lawmakers to end the plea deals for child predators or any sexual violent predators. In my belief system, no 3-strike rule, no plea deals at all. It's time to take away the safety nets that lets them bargain their way out of accountability. It takes 2 seconds to sign a petition, so you can check it out below. If you guys want to know what this webpage is, it's called Just in the Nick of Crime. So I wonder if I can share it here. Copy. There, I posted it. So if you scroll down to the bottom of that page, there should be a link to sign the petition. So if you guys could do that, please do. I lost my darn page again. Okay. So right here at the underneath the section that it says fighting back is where you can sign the petition so they can no longer so they can kind of it's a petition to stop the plea deals basically. So moving on, when prosecutors protect their own. So judges aren't the only ones under scrutiny. In 2022, the first assistant district attorney, Kevin Irthington, who had spent 8 years prosecuting child abuse cases under DA Laura Austin Thomas, was arrested after Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations found more than 150 images and videos of child sexual abuse on his Google Drive. Sickening. Freaking sickening. There's Mr. Kevin. Boy, ain't he a piece of work? According to the investigative filings, Google itself flagged Etherton's account, triggering an OSBI, Oklahoma Bureau of Investigations, probe through the Internet Crimes Against Children unit. Agents later reported that some of the material depicted was prepubescent. So if you guys aren't sure what that word is, just Google it yourself. Yeah, I'm not going into that. It's on children under 6. Okay. Yeah, disgusting, sickening. Oof. It's so heavy. This is why I no longer want to cover criminal cases. I would so much rather be there for victims and help them work through their stresses than to go through this. It's sickening to my stomach. Even worse, he had been fired from a previous prosecutor's job in Oklahoma County for misconduct, yet somehow was hired and promoted in Payne County. Did they even do a background check? Who's on their background check doing their background check office work? Okay, so after his arrest, the DA Thomas expressed outrage, but reportedly declined to order a full internal review of Irvington's prior prosecutions, leaving countless cases potentially compromised. So now we've moved on. Watcher of Crazy, so good to see you, Misty. Love you muches. So retaliation against the whistleblowers. So a few people who have tried to expose this system often find themselves punished. Now, again, I will say it again. You can always go. You can always go to the Oklahoma Council of Judicial Complaints and the Oklahoma Bar Association and also the Attorney General's office and file a complaint to remove these crooked people from the bench. Okay? It has to be done. If we don't stand together and remove judges and prosecutors from these positions, it's going to continue and continue and continue. A few people have tried, but then they get punished. Take Daryl Doherty, one of the citizens who helped organize a grand jury petition. Now, with that being said, there is another grand jury petition that was done. And so we have court again. I do believe it is on December 8th. From what I heard from her stream earlier, December 8th. And there will be a very pleasant protest. And yes, Tainted will be there. So if you are in the area or able to come to the area, please do. We need as many people as possible to make it known that because to me, these judges, these prosecutors, they're no better than the person that is the perpetrator. They're no better than the perpetrator at all, period. So take Daryl Doherty case. They did a grand jury to investigate the corruption in Payne County courts. Within days of the petition being filed, naming judges, prosecutors, and the DHS officials, Doherty was arrested on multiple charges, including child stealing. The warrant was signed by Judge Jason Reese, one of the judges named in the petition. Reese initially set Doherty's bond at $1 million, but yet this other guy has a $500 bond. Makes no freaking sense to me. Oh, it just chops my hide. An unprecedented amount for a non-violent custody dispute. So a quick note, Judge Jason Lee was appointed by governor after serving his personal attorney, serving as personal attorney. Many locals believe that this was retaliation, not justice. So the Moyer versus Murray case, a federal crack in the armor. So a federal level Moyer versus Murray, WD Oklahoma 52 yada 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 yada, is beginning to unravel the bigger picture. Plaintiff Gregory A. Moyer alleges that the network of judges and prosecutors and mental health agencies in Payne County conspired to manipulate custody cases, falsify records, retaliate against parents who question their authority. Now, I know for a fact this does happen. Yes, it does. So say you have a previous statement by a doctor that says a child has been abused, and then the situation happens again later on in another place, a place that's crooked like this. And so they'll say, nothing's wrong. The child is perfectly fine. But yet you have documentation that the child was not fine previous to that. So that shows you the corruption within the system. And again, like I said earlier, go to Oklahoma Bar Association to file a complaint, Oklahoma Council of Judicial Complaints, or even the Attorney General's office. I cannot express enough. Court filings include references to audio recordings allegedly capturing officials from the Grand Mental Health treating relatives saying, "You'll never see the kids." A related ethics complaint filed by Moyer accused Oklahoma Attorney General's Genter Drummond, I don't know, whatever his name is, of failing to recuse himself from the matters involving those same individuals. The case is now on appeal in the 10th Circuit Court. Could set the precedent for piercing judicial immunity when misconduct is proven systematic. Make sure I haven't missed anything in chat, you guys. Watch your crazy. It's so good to see you. I love it when you come to visit. Okay, so now we are at the web of political influence and how it protects the courthouse. So, if you've ever been in a situation where you've had to deal with the corrupt judicial system, I have. I've dealt with it. It's not fun, and it's not easy to explain why law enforcement or attorneys or sheriffs, or judges are making the wrong choices. So this case is it's the only reason I decided to do this case is because I can emotionally relate to this case. And it's not very often that I do get to actually feel the pain of another victim if the case like yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I can actually really relate to not only the abuse that happened, but also to the corruption that happened. And that's why I am here to stand by them in this fight to stop this because this need the corruption has got to stop. It's got to stop. There are so many victims out there that have to deal with this every day of their life. That pain does not go away. I repeat, the pain of being victimized does not go away. All the counseling in the world, it's going to creep up somewhere. It's either going to creep up in your next relationships, it's going to creep up, as the children are getting older, in their schoolwork. And their abilities to be productive adults, it will creep back up at some point. I'd rather stand with money or politics than I do the right thing to stand for the victims. Do what do is right. Stand for the victims. Oh, they rather. I was like, wait, what? I was like, that's it. Out of my chat extreme. You're fired. Sorry, I read that wrong. Please forgive me. So lobbying disclosures show that so alleged corruption doesn't stop at the courthouse. It runs through the same political arteries that feeds it. Lobbying disclosures show that Pat McFerrin, one of Oklahoma's most connected political strategists, have represented, excuse me, Clark Industries, Walmart, Tesla, Oklahoma District Attorneys Association, all at the same time. His firm, CMA Strategies, has long been involved in campaigns influencing judicial appointments, DA races, and legislative oversight committees responsible for funding county courts and district attorneys' offices. Critics of the formal staffs have alleged that this kind of crossover is where the same lobbyists represent both the prosecutor's lobbying arm and so again, this is them not being able to make them accountable because they're like buddies with them. You get me? Like, how can you make someone that you also support or defend accountable for something? You can't. You can't. Again, this is that word I said earlier, conflict of interest. So there should have been an immediate conflict of interest put in play. Soon as they tried this case in that county, that should have went to Oklahoma County. It could have went to any other county, just not that county. No, yeah. So when prosecutors and judge faces controversy in a smaller county like Payne County, those connected can mean the difference of exposure between exposure and silence. Now, the thing is, 50 years ago, they didn't have mass media, but they do now. And so now they can't keep people quiet. They can't keep them quiet anymore. People are going to be able to get up and speak and get it out that this is the things that they're doing. Several sources familiar with the Moyer versus Murray case and Payne County's internal politics allege that these same networks discourage state-level intervention even when clear evidence of misconduct surfaces. In other words, what happens in Stillwater stays in Stillwater. It is protected by the same statewide political machinery that keeps the system in place. Stillwater's network of silence. Stillwater is a city where the same people sit on the school boards, serve as prosecutors, have family in law enforcement. Know what that's like, and or the bench. So, you do some dirty work, you have family or really close friends that are in law enforcement or on the bench. Yeah. Here's $500, you can get out on $500. Here's your bail. If they even get bail. They surely don't get convicted by any stretch. That interconnected web from Stillwater Public Schools of Oklahoma State University creates what some residents describe as a protection circle, where influence shields the powerful and the isolated and isolates the crimes, or sorry, isolates the victims. So it isolates the victims from being able to even say anything or do anything because they have this web of people protecting them from even being in trouble, being accountable for the corruption. Okay, so it's kind of a small town machinery that can quietly make stories disappear and keep predators safe behind the same last names that run the town. For instance, the Worthingtons. The system that protects itself. When you step back, a chilling pattern emerges. Predators get leniency, whistleblowers get punished. Mm. And the officials responsible for protecting victims often protect themselves instead. Stillwater's courthouse isn't broken, it's functioning exactly as it was intended. The human cost behind every docket number is a life changed forever. And that's what I was saying earlier. These little girls that were strangled and one almost to death, they had to have surgery because he had damaged the artery, her carotid artery, so bad that it was swelled up. Her life will never be the same. She's never going to be able to let that go. She will learn to deal with it. She will learn how to deal with her anxieties. She will learn how to deal with the pain, not just physical pain, but emotional pain. But it will always be in the back of her head forever. A teenager who can't sleep without medication. Exactly. Mhm. A mother sitting beside her daughter hospital bed after emergency surgery because he damaged her carotid artery. A family still fighting a system that seems determined to protect their attacker. Bullshit. It's bullshit. They shouldn't allow it. And through it all, the same judges, prosecutors, officials keep their titles, their salaries, and their silence. Stories like this one, Jesse Butler's and Seth Swam, and also many others have proved what happens when the system protects predators instead of their victims. And this is another thing. This is why I want this channel to become victim centered and not case centered because victims need a place. They need a place of peace. And so for just in the nick of time, he says, that's why I'm fighting for the change far beyond Stillwater. My petition is calling on Congress and state leaders to ban plea deals for anyone charged with child sexual abuse or exploitation. If enough people stand, just one second. My petition is calling. Okay, so if enough people stand behind it, we can make sure predators face full sentences and victims never have to see their abusers walk free again. Again, here's another link. So I did put the link to his page just in the nick of time. I did put his this page link in the chat. Please go check it out. Go sign it. Please, please, please. Between the Worthingtons family. Okay, so conclusion. The case of Jesse Mack Butler didn't just expose one alleged predator, it's exposing the cracks in the judicial culture that has been crumbling for decades. Between the Worthingtons family and their 50-year hold on the bench, prosecutors accused of their own crimes, political networks that thrive on self preservation, Stillwater has become a warning to the rest of the country. Corruption doesn't always look like a bribery or a fraud. It's in your own backyard. I'm telling you, more cases than not, it's in your own backyard. There's a lot more coming. We're just scratching the surface here, making sure that you're following and subscribe. So please go check out Just the Nick of Time. I did put in the chat. You know what? Maybe I'll do it again here. This was an amazing. Let's see. Do. Paste. There you go. I did put it in the chat. Now, I'm going to stop sharing that one. Do. Just one second. Give me 1 second. Okay. So let's see what else here. So I'm going to share this page. Let me figure out how to do this again. Okay, share screen. And I was seeing it. I think that's it. Okay. Can you see it? I don't know if you guys can see it at this stage. Yay, there it is. Okay. So on Monday, December 8th, 2025, this is up for review. So Senate has said, hey, we want a new grand jury. This is bullshit. It should never have been let go. So I will be there. Just want to let you guys know. I will be there on December 8th, Monday, December 8th at 1:30. Okay, let's see here. So there was here, I'll share this one too. So let me remove this one. Share screen. Share screen. There it is. Okay, so this one is called The Protesters. Oh, you could see it? Awesome. Thank you. Add to stage. Okay. So this is it says Payne County, Oklahoma. A Stillwater teenager was convicted of multiple violent crimes, but was still allowed to walk free with no jail time. Oklahomans are now protesting, demanding justice. So let me scoot this over here so I can see it better. So it says Payne County, Oklahoma. A Stillwater teenager was convicted of multiple violent crimes, but was allowed to walk free with no jail time. Oklahomans are now protesting and demanding justice. Do you blame them? I don't. I would be out there too. Matter of fact, I will be out there December 8th. Says, okay. So we are seeking out justice for women and girls in Payne County and all of Oklahoma, says Sheila Hayes, a protester. Oklahoma says they are seeking justice after teen who was 17 years old at the time who was convicted of violent crimes. This man now, I think he's almost an adult, was supposed to get 72 years. 72 years. They went back and changed it and said, "Oh, we're just going to give you a slap on the wrist. You go to some counseling and hey, call it a day." Okay. USA. Okay, man arrested on multiple child sexual abuse, animal abuse charges. Okay, I feel like there's a lot of people out here in the community that have been punished way worse for way less crimes, says Samantha Morgan, a protester. The fact that he got away with just a slap on the wrist is appalling. According to the court documents, the teen faced 11 charges that carried 78 years of jail time. He pled no contest and it was allowed to be treated as a youthful offender rather than an adult because he was a minor at the time of the offense. So protesters at Wednesday morning's event called for the resignation of Judge Susan Worthington at Payne County District Attorney's Office, ADA, to resign. The teen received a deal that resulted in no prison time, only daily check-ins, counseling, and no social media. It gives a poop if he has social media. At least on social media, he can't physically hurt anyone. Again, he's done it three different victims, multiple times, but three different victims. So, and at least 11 accountable acts. And 150 hours of community service, which ends when he turns 19. Now, I understand, I heard today, there is a third victim that is going to come forward or may come forward. I can't say he's going to, may potentially come forward. 73 people arrested in the latest Oklahoma immigration sting. Okay, so I don't understand how they are not supporting the women, young girls, and how they're not standing up for us, says Hayes. Beyond the signs of chanting, some protesters signed up for volunteer to collect signatures and hope to eventually get the petition off the ground. I want safe schools for my daughter. She deserves to be able to go to school and not among rapists. Right? Like, definitely not going to happen. Not going to happen for me. Oh, I just can't. I can't. It's frustrating. So the good news is that the cases there's going up for review December 8th, and I will be there. I don't know if I'll be going live. I haven't decided yet, but I will be there. Now, um, just one second. If you would like to help out others in the community, this is the Council of Judicial Complaints form right here. So you can look up Oklahoma Council on Judicial Complaints. You can scroll down, file a complaint right here. This little button, little gray one right there. Yeah, that one. That's the one you want to file a complaint with. Okay. This is her information. If you need her information on who you would be filing this complaint on, I will share that also. Share screen. Right here. This is the Miss Susan Worthington. That's the information you need when you file your complaint. Let's see here. And I think that's about it for now. It's outraging on what these victims have had to endure. I'm not going to show her boo-boos. I'm not. I just to me that is disrespectful to the victim, and the victim basically needs us to be supportive of her for us to help get this judge off the bench. So, that's what I'll be there to do. At any rate, I hope everyone has an amazing rest of their day. Extreme, can you please put your link in chat? So you need to go check out Extreme, and you need to go check out Watch Her Crazy. Watch Her Crazy is really funny, and she sings really pretty. And for ghost hunting stuffies, you can always check out Extreme Paranormal. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much, Watcher. I love you muches. I didn't even see that. I had the screen I was reading. I had it above. So I could barely see the little bitty piece of chat. So I'm so sorry I missed that. Thank you very much, Watcher. I greatly appreciate you. I love you too. So so anyways, so that's it. I hope you guys got to enjoy the show, and just understand that victims need your support as far as a listening ear. You know, if a victim is in a situation that they just sometimes they just need someone to talk to and get it out, just to get what they need out, and just be there for them, or be as supportive as you possibly can, especially if they're dealing with corruption within their system, because it's not easy getting beyond the corruption. And a lot of times the victims will end up being re-victimized over and over and over and over again. So with that being said, I love you all. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. God bless, and have a great night.